2014 Cup Series champion and his number 4 team have been docked 100 points for an L2 penalty. Now, we have seen L2 penalties already this season. We saw one with Brad Keselowski early in the year. It resulted in a 100-point penalty. And we saw one in, I guess it was July, that Michael McDowell in the 34 team got hit with a 100-point penalty through the L2. So, basically, don't mess with the next-gen parts. NASCAR has shown it before. They have once again shown it. But this time, the driver and the crew chief have responded on social media. After the race on Sunday, of course, NASCAR picks a few cars to go back to the R&D center, be broken down, looked at every single inch of the car, and if they find something illegal, they find out that you've been tampering with a next-gen part that's not supposed to be tampered with, you get a penalty. We've also seen some L1s handed out. I think it was Petty GMS that got an L1 penalty, but no one has gotten an L3 yet. And if you get an L3, that's the death penalty, basically. So we've yet to come to that yet. But, yeah. So after Talladega, which, by the way, I was there this weekend. If you haven't seen my vlog, it's my most recent video. Go watch that. Yeah, been hit with a big penalty here. And after going to the R&D center, after being picked up by NASCAR officials at Talladega, it's not like they look at the car and they go, oh, that one looks off. It's random. I don't know how random. But it was Truex and Harvick. And they got called back, and here is what it says. NASCAR officials issued L2 level penalties Wednesday to the Stewart-Haas Racing Ford team for unapproved modification of a single source part. The infraction, which falls under the heading of sections 14.1 vehicle assembly and 14.5 body, resulted in a 100-point penalty for both driver Kevin Harvick and the number 4 SHR team and their respective Cup Series point standings. Additionally, crew chief Rodney Childers was fined $100,000 and suspended from the next 4 Cup Series events. So yeah, Rodney Childers will not be back until Phoenix, the last race of the season. Kevin Harvick loses 100 points. He has already been eliminated from the playoffs, so no playoff implications here. It's points implications, though. Harvick was fighting, for 5th in points theoretically, but he was already down in 16th, but now instead of 18 points behind 15th, he's 118 points behind. So, yeah, they're pretty much locked in at 16th in points unless someone else has I guess if Bowman misses the rest of the season, then maybe Bowman, they could pass him. But, yeah, Harvick, 16th in the points after this. And here is what he and Rodney Childers had to say on social media. Rodney Childers said, shocker. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then Kevin Harvick said, seems strange. Now you may be wondering, why are they commenting like this on social media? Well, if you were unaware, Kevin Harvick has been very, very vocal and outspoken about the safety of the next-gen car, especially since Darlington when his car just caught on fire. His car caught on fire. They didn't throw the caution at first, and he got out, and he was pretty mad. Called all the parts on the next-gen car crappy and made a T-shirt calling the parts crappy. And he's been very, very outspoken. Him and Denny Hamlin have been the 2 most outspoken guys about the safety of the next-gen car. And as of most recently, Chase Elliott has been too. But those 2 have been leading the outspokenness of the next-gen car and how they are not happy. And so, there could be a conspiracy theory, or, Childers and Harvick could think it's just bad timing and they think they're upset about this timing, but they could potentially think that this is through penalty for Harvick talking. I don't think that's the case. I like to think that's not the case, that Harvick's not being punished for talking about the next-gen car in a negative light. The old thing used to be you get fined for actions detrimental to stock car racing when you said something bad. Like, I remember Hamlin, like the second race of the Gen 6, Hamlin said something. It wasn't even bad. It wasn't like, oh, this car sucks. He's like, oh, yeah, this car, it is good, but there are some room for improvements, and he listed some specific things, and they fined him for it. I don't know. Harvick and Childers, they have reasons to speculate. They have reasons to be upset. That's a big penalty to be handed out, and they have every right to fight it, to think what they want, because that is a big penalty, is a big accusation. And if they're truly not committing that penalty, then, they have every right to be mad that they were accused of it or, handed the penalties. But yeah, it would be quite something if it was some deep, dark secret of NASCAR that their way of getting back at Kevin Harvick for talking trash about the next gen car was by handing him an L2 penalty. I don't think that's the case, but could you imagine? That'd be something. But yeah, it's once again, it's like I've said the first 2 times. NASCAR sending a message: do not mess with these next gen single source parts, or NASCAR will they'll knock you out. They have shown this year that they are not messing around. We've had 3 L2 penalties. We've had 2 disqualifications, one being the winner, one being the second place at Pocono. But other than that, I mean, NASCAR's just shown they're not messing around. Pretty straightforward. That's pretty much it. So don't mess around, or you will find out what NASCAR is willing to do to you in terms of penalties. Other news, AJ Allmendinger is going to be a full-time Cup Series driver next year for Colleague. Good for him. I think he's going to be a playoff contender. I really do. There's a lot of road courses on the schedule next year. There's super speedway races on the schedule. Colleague has shown speed at both of those types of tracks, and AJ Allmendinger is a terrific road course racer. So I think they'll be fighting for a playoff spot. As for the Xfinity side of things, Chandler Smith, former Toyota driver, former KBM driver, is jumping over to Chevy. He will be driving for Colleague in the Xfinity series. So big jump there as well. Yeah, I mean, Toyota seems like they're losing everyone. Kyle Busch, Brandon Jones, now Chandler Smith. So, yeah, but that's all I got for you today. Tomorrow we will do a live stream at some point. I have yet to determine the time, but we will do that. And then after that, I'll talk to you this weekend and all the other stuff. But just wanted to talk to you about this penalty and everything that goes along with it.